Okay, hi guys. Hello, Jermaine. How are you? People may wander in as they do. What I'm going to do is get going because I want to get this video. I want to get this webinar done so we can move on and get things going. So anyway, I look forward to sharing with you about the next hour a way to address our business our biggest hurdles, blah, blah, blah. Let's start this again. I look forward to sharing you over the next hours some of the ways to overcome our biggest hurdles and to actually help us to create the things that we want in our life, be it financial wealth, great health, loving concepts, and relationships. And this ability to create and be the power simply by being ourselves. One of the biggest things that we need to recognize is in a lot of areas of our lives that we really get on really well and amazing things are happening. And one of the things that I really want you to do is to look at your life and open it up so that you can be the result that you want to have. So at the end, I'm going to share an opportunity with you to be able to join, into a program that we're running, and just so make sure you stay until the end and to get the details of that. So think about it for a moment. When you look at your life, no doubt you have certain areas that are working really well and they align with yourself. Certain parts of your life just rock. Like maybe you live in a really lovely place, you just love where you live, or you have an amazing career which inspires you. Or you may see some other areas in your life, and we all do, and they just kind of suck. And the big thing about them is that they drain so much energy out of us, and we struggle to try and get over them and find out what's going on, and it can be damn frustrating. I bet you find yourself asking, why can't I get this area of my life working right? What's wrong with me? What's going on? If you're like me, you've probably signed up for lots of different courses over the years, read tons of books, and listened to countless hours of audios. And despite your best efforts, things don't seem to align. It's just like, damn, what the hell am I doing wrong? What am I missing? And you're still not getting what you want. And to be honest, it plain pisses you off, and I get it. I've been frustrated like that. I've got those T-shirts, and I've worn them so often that some of them have got quite big holes in them. So, the thing to be aware of is it's not unnormal for this to be experienced. And one of the things is there is a way through it. And that's what I want you to recognize, is that there is a way through getting out of this crap and getting out of these places where you're hurting yourself, where you feel in pain. Seriously, you aren't alone, and it's a problem that we all face from time to time. So before we go in any deeper and we start going in there, I just want to share a little bit about my story so that people understand where I come from and why I do what I do and why I'm able to help people shift and see into what's going on. Just on the weekend, I was just down in Melbourne, and some guy comes up to me and he says, I want to do your numerology. And I went, okay, whatever. So he asked my birth date, and I told him, and he says, damn, you're a 222, which basically means you're very clairvoyant. You see very right into things. And then he did my name on top, and he says, geez, when my name's shortened to Doug, it makes you 4 twos, which is you'd be off the chart with being able to see what others don't see and being able to see into places. But it makes you very unstable. And, I'll share a little bit of my life here. And, yeah, my life has been unstable. And so now I'm starting, he suggested that I move my instead of just being called Doug, to move my name to use my whole name in Douglas, which will tend to bring some stability in the mental field for me. So I thought, I'll listen to that and see what goes on. Because for me, I haven't bothered either way. But basically, just so you understand, another thing that he said that I found very interesting, he said you would have been very quick to anger. You would have found your emotions would have been all over your place. And my life, from a young age, I was very unstable. I was known for my anger, and I had a foul temper. I have mastered it to a great extent now, yet now and again it is known to flare up. Yet the short version in my life, back in '96, I had my own plumbing business. I was married, and a couple of little kids, and the business collapsed. I wanted out. I hated my business. I hated what I was doing, and I wanted out. And I remember asking, I just was asking the universe, how the hell do I get out of this? I hate it. And about 6 months to a year later, I was answered, where a builder went bankrupt. And financially, he took me out. And not long after that, my marriage collapsed in on itself, because there's one thing being married to someone who had money and was angry, and then there's another thing being married to someone that's just angry. And so basically what happened is they both fell apart. And the crazy thing about it is I tried to get them both back. I tried to get my plumbing business back, which I hated, and then I tried to get back my marriage, which wasn't really much fun. And I fought for both of them to the extent where I actually physically collapsed on a building site one day. I was on a site alone, and I actually physically collapsed. And in the collapsing, something broke open inside of me, where I began to be able to see on a much deeper level. And this is where the journey into understanding being yourself and being able to heal your life really started to open up for me. I didn't think I was crazy. I didn't want to go see a psychiatrist, because that's what I thought they were crazy. A psychologist, I mean. So what I did is I went and saw a spiritual teacher. A friend told me to go and see this spiritual counselor. So I went and saw him, because I could handle that better. That was more palatable to my belief systems at the time. And I went and saw the guy, and he just looked at me and, yeah, okay, I understand. You just, and I would just feel better. Now, what happened from there is I kept going back to see him, because I felt better. He made, it was making a difference. And that was my way. And just like you in your life, you'll find that you're guided somewhere, and it's like you're being guided because you're looking for something to help you, and it just feels better. So you go there, and the energy's working with you to open you up to get the results that you're after. And so basically this guy told me and talked to me a lot about what I do. And he introduced me to some other people, and one was one of my first healing teachers. And I worked with her, did a lot of meditating with her and her group. And they said, she said one day, you need to go to the spiritual church and learn and do healing and get a healing done, and go there and heal people. And so one of the things, I went there and said I want to do a healing, and they said, no, before you can do a healing, you must have one. And I lay on the table, and this old guy come up, and he says, okay, I'm going to do a healing, and goes and does what he does. But as soon as he puts his hands on me, it was just like I got a flashlight, and I just remembered how to do it. I remembered how to see. I remembered there was just basically this memory of being able to see everything. And I never got back there. I never got back to going back to that church. Every time I tried to, I'd get the weeks wrong, or it just wouldn't be on. There was always something that blocked me from going back. And so I realized it wasn't my journey. So what happened, and from there, it was the more that I was moving into being myself and allowing the pain and the hurt to come out, people started coming to me because I could just see stuff. I could see inside the body. It got to the stage where I could see the organs in the body, and I could see which illnesses were doing what, and basically how it unravels. Now, one of the things that we did, I went to America for two reasons. One, to study. The other one was I was running away from pain. And so I went there, and I went to the States to learn how to do some more work, and to just see what was going on. I went to this course. But while I was over there, I found myself sitting in the airport in LA. And I was going up to San Francisco, and I didn't know what I was going to do, or how everything was going to unfold for me, as I didn't have any plans. I was in America for 3 months, but I didn't have any plans on what I was going to do or where I was going to go. I had about a week's worth of organized for myself, and then that was it. And as I'm sitting, in the airport, I'm walking from the check-in, so to speak, over to where my seat, where you sit in the wait for your plane. And as I'm walking over, I sort of said to Spirit or God or whatever you want to call it, I says, okay, I'm here now. What do you want me to do? What am I supposed to do? And I heard this clear voice, as clear as a day. And it said to me, go sit down over in that chair there and wait. A lady's going to come and sit down beside you within 2 minutes. And I went, okay. Being single at the time, I went, woohoo. There's me. I'm going to meet a hottie, and, life's going to be sweet. And this lady come and sat down beside me, and then her husband sat down beside her. That kind of sucked. But anyway, so what we did is I started talking to them. And as I talked to them, they knew where I was from in New Zealand, and they'd been to the town next town over from where I lived, where I grew up. And then I started talking to them, and they asked me what I did. And I said, well, it's a form of psychic surgery, because that's what I called it back then. And they were very open to it, because they had some psychic surgeons coming up from the Philippines and that. And then they said, well, how does it work for you? What is going on? And I said, well, basically I just see things and I can read the energy. And so they says, oh, our son. And no sooner did they say our son, as I got a picture of their son in front of me, and I could read his energy. I could say, oh, this is going on. He's got this, and I told him what was wrong with him and what to do. And they just looked at me and went, whoa, dude. And then so they said there was someone else, and I just tuned into them. Now, the thing to remember here is when you look at energy, the way I understand energy is we are all connected. So when you think of somebody, if you have somebody and you think of them, I can track into the energy via you. There's like a conduit, and that's basically what was going on. And I was able to read their energy and tell them what's going on, at which stage he pulled his wallet out and says, how much do you want? And I said, no, it's all right, mate, don't worry about it. It's just something I can do. And then at that stage, it comes over time for us to get on our plane. They were flying to Seattle, so we said our goodbyes, and I went and got on the plane to San Francisco. And as I'm sitting down on my seat, I sort of said to Spirit, wow, that was really, really powerful. That really helped me a lot. And no sooner had I said that, as the pilot came across the intercom and said, everyone get off the plane, it's been delayed due to fog. And I walked back to where I was sitting, or where those people, they were still sitting there. And they says, wow, I'm so glad that you came back. It felt like our conversation hadn't finished. And what I did is we continued to talk, and he asked me what would it take for me to come up to Seattle where they were. And I says, oh, well, get a few people and away we'll go. And they became one of my biggest clients in America, one of the biggest promoters for me in America, and I had a lot of people used to come because of them, and it became a great place for me to go and stay. And I did a lot of work up there, and it was, for me though, it was the ability to trust and get out of my own damn way and allow things to happen. What I've been shown in that experience is, just to really let go, and magic does happen. It just really does. So what I've found, working with people over the past 20 years is that whether they've got terminal illnesses, any sort of health issues, cancers or HIV, anything like that, thyroid, any sort of illness that's going on inside of them, I've been lucky enough to see people dissolve fibers, those fibroid things in your uterus. You get these little, they look like sea slugs to me. They're really quite cool to play with. And be able to see them dissolve within an hour session, and it's interesting when you access into where the energy is of it, they're able to release and the people are able to heal. And one of the things that happen is when these healings happen, it doesn't make logical sense to a lot of Western medicine doctors, because they don't understand the depth of actually what's really going on. But one of the keys here is what we're able to do is the person's able to release and open the pain that is inside of them, and we're able to take them with compassion and love into that pain and hold them in a safe space. And as we hold them in a safe space, they're able to let go the environment in which they're holding themselves. And in doing that, they surrender, and then the healing takes place. So I've been lucky enough to see all sorts of miracles all over the world, and it's quite a common thing for me to see miracles, from people getting over cancer, shrinking of goiters, through to, little young boys getting their eyesight back. And the thing about it is there's always a pain underneath it, which is causing the disorder. So I've helped people, get into relations, get out of relationships, and stay in their relationships. I've helped people sort out their career conflicts and make major changes of direction in their life. And I've had lots of experience helping people clear their financial blocks. Understanding this, the area of life doesn't really matter, because at the core, the energy is always the same. It all relates somehow to people not being themselves and having some deep pain hidden within. And the pain won't be sitting on your sleeve. It won't be just resting up there going, "Hi, this is me." It's buried down inside us because we are so ashamed or have the guilt or whatever's going on, and we want to get it out, but we don't know how to access it, and so we tend to mask it in many different ways. The same can work for you. It's about getting out of your own damn way. I've been blessed to witness, many miracles. And, one of the things that happens, if you get out of your own damn way and you allow yourself to be open, then the healing will occur and you will come back into balance and you will be yourself. And in healing yourself, you will step into a deeper space of love. And the one thing that I've noticed is there's always a pattern. There's always a pattern in everyone's consciousness, and it's just a matter of unraveling and finding which cord do you need to pull to unravel them down into the place where they are being held. So one of the things that they tend to do is people are going along and they find themselves in the pain or the suffering, and they're not getting the result they want, so they keep asking themselves questions, lots and lots and lots of questions, repeating to themselves over and over again. Hey, we've all done it. No, I'll put my hand up. I'll be like, why doesn't this work? Why doesn't this work? Why doesn't this work? You're like a bloody robot. If you keep asking the same dumb question, you keep getting the same dumb answer. Why isn't this working? What am I missing? What's wrong? What's wrong with me? If only I could. And we go, wow, wow, wow. And we go round. And the thing is, what we're looking at is the questions that we're asking as the universe keeps showing me. It keeps showing you what's wrong. And so the universe shows you more of what's wrong. Ask a different question. It's like, I see myself saying this to myself, ask a different question, you'll get a different answer. And to be honest, this line of questioning doesn't help you solve the problem. Instead, the constant barrage of question tends to move you deeper into one of three places. And this is so true, where we look at ourselves, we actually really do hurt ourselves. And the three places that we tend to find by these questions of getting frustrated and not being able to work out what to do is we get angry and we either hurt ourselves or others, like we beat ourselves up by telling ourselves that we're not good enough or whatever, or we project it onto others and we want to blame them. Or you feel helpless or worthless and separate yourself from help and feel alone. And what you do there is you go inward and you again are cutting yourself off and thinking that you don't deserve to be helped, or you won't, and then you start feeling alone, like nobody loves you, and you start going into that and you feel like crap. Or the third way is you resign your true feelings of being love and acceptance of yourself and stuff the hurt and negative thoughts deep down inside of yourself, and you pretend that they're not there. And one of the things that we do when we do that, if we push it down and we push it down long enough, then we're knocked off balance and we're trying to contain ourselves, but here we are off balance. We're always being pushed in a different angle. So one of the things that you'll find is when you're not succeeding in a certain area, you're pushing down some hurt in there that you haven't been willing to acknowledge in yourself, and you haven't felt safe, and it's okay. Because it comes up when it's meant to come up, and hence you experience pain and suffering. It can be an imbalance in your health, your finances, your career, your relationships. One thing that you may or may not be aware of is that life was never meant to be a struggle. Hey, it's not meant to be a struggle, but how many of us struggle? How many of us get caught up in the dharma or the dance of thinking it needs to be a certain way? Yet we see people struggling all the time, and you may even experience some struggle yourself. You may be finding some area of your life so you can struggle. Everything can be really good, but you're looking at one little area thinking, oh, I can struggle here, and away you go, and you get caught up in that little bit of struggle. When if you just let it go, you'd find that it'd tend to unravel and you'll come back into balance. And what I want to share with you today is shed some light on the struggle and how to deal with it and what to do about it. So what do I mean by not being yourself? The first thing I want you to recognize is up front, be proud of who you are. You're the best version of yourself that you can be at the moment right now. You're exactly where you're meant to be. You haven't done anything wrong, and you're always... there's always going to be growth and getting better. But the thing is be in the acceptance of yourself where you have it right now, then you are able to begin to start the change. When we stop and take a look at our life, we can see that we're running certain patterns over and over again. And you can see it. You can see it in your thought processes. You can see it in your emotions. You can see it in the cycles of your life. You'll see where things are working, and you can watch these cycles. Life is circular. There is just cycles that just keep going, cycles inside cycles, just continually running. But it's not so much that the cycle. It's not so much the cycle. It's what you do and how you deal with the cycles is where the power comes from. These patterns come from a series of thoughts, beliefs, behaviours and attitudes, and some support us and some not so much. All of us have got some things that then aren't really our favourite thing. We feel a certain emotion, so we go and jump into the chocolates or the chippy bag, and then we find ourselves come out about half an hour later totally unconscious, feeling like crap because we ate too much. Been there, got that T-shirt. When we tolerate some disempowering behaviour or thought, we are not being ourselves. We are being a program or set of memories just running over and over again. And you think about it, you look at it, how often do you go unconscious? And we go unconscious into this programming and we react a certain way rather than responding. For us to be able to heal ourselves and be ourselves means we need to be able to step back and go back into the pureness, just like this little guy has there on the screen, and just be in the innocence of the child. And one of the things that we do when we're running those old programs, it's just like watching an old rerun of Friends. And if you look at your life and your life is just the same over and over all day, all you're doing is a rerun of what you did yesterday. And, it has a beginning, it has a middle, and it has an end. The content in the middle, during your day may be a little bit different, but basically you'll find that you have your breakfast and you go through day and you have lunch midday sort of thing. And then at the end of the day, you come home from work and you come back home, get dinner and put the kids to bed or whatever you're doing. And then you get to bed and wake up the next day and do it all again. And a lot of it becomes unconscious because we're just into this program of running the same pattern. And it's where we make these little changes. We do something a little bit different. It breaks everything up. It breaks the cycle up, and we can become conscious of what we're doing. And then we start seeing where some of the patterns that we're doing on a daily basis may not necessarily be the best choices that we do. And you think about it. When you drive to work, if you drive to work a certain way and you keep going that way to work, it's just become your pattern. But if somebody tells you another way to go, which can take, say, 5 or 10 minutes off your time, and you take it and it works, how long do you take to change? You do it straight away. You don't go think, oh, I may do that or I may not do it. You change and move to the new, better way of being, and you can do it straight away. The same with what happens inside of ourselves, with our emotions and our feelings of that. We can do it straight away. Yet we have to want to be there and be in the innocence of the allowing it to be there that creates the biggest change. So how do we break those old patterns? First up, we have to become aware of that the pattern's actually there in the first place. And by becoming aware of it right now, you're able to see what's actually going on, because that then moves you into a choice point. You then move into choice to, what do I actually really want to do? And then the second part is you start to become bone raw honest with yourself. Now, when we become bone raw honest, we actually ask the question, why am I doing this? If I'm bone raw honest, why am I eating this toast for breakfast? I know it makes me feel like crap, but it's just easy to get to. But why am I doing it? Because I'm lazy. And you can have your nice shape there or whatever it is, and you're just going, geez, why? If I'm bone raw honest, why did I do that? Well, I couldn't be bothered doing anything, and I thought it would make me feel good. And you dig into what's actually going on, and you find the honesty, and you realise that there'll be some form of pain underneath it, of where you're wanting to find acceptance, or where you're wanting a little need inside of you to be filled. And it's really quite interesting. And when you ask the question and allow yourself to answer it, you'll find that it'll come to the surface. Sometimes it may be, if you're finding it's an eating thing, you're eating and it's in a way to actually try and hurt yourself, because you're feeling good about yourself, that things are actually working in your life. And you're wanting to hurt yourself or punish yourself in some way. So you go and eat something that you always feel like garbage afterwards, but you go and do it. And it's got wired up in your neurology that it's nurturing you. But you'll find that there'll be some form of sabotage. And the thing is we dig into it and we actually be bone raw honest with it. And we'll go, wow, I'm doing this unconsciously because of blah, blah, blah. And what happens is we begin to set ourselves free, because once we become aware that we're doing that behaviour, well, we tend to stop. It's a bit like getting that way to driving to work. So by asking yourself the questions, you can bring up negative emotions. Yet when you stay focused on asking the questions and you allow the emotions to come through, one of the things that tends to happen is you'll get to the core of what's going on. So just one of the things with the emotions when they rise is just watch them, just allow them to pass through. As I say to everyone, just like Chinese food, just allow it to run through you. And as it runs through you, you're left and you'll get to the core of what's going on. Like I said, I used to be a plumber. All the crap goes out down the drain, and what's left is the core. You see where you're getting caught. So, now one of the things that I have found is people with chronic illness will have something that they've been holding on to, and they haven't been willing to admit to themselves. Their pain and suffering is physical, and it's affecting their health. Yet one of the things that I find this everywhere, and it's the same with addictions that people have. It's not the addiction that's the problem, it's the pain underneath it that's causing the problem. And when you recognize that, you go, oh, that's where I'm getting caught. And it's in being honest to face the pain that the healing then takes place. And that'll bring you back to being more in aligned with who you truly are. So if you're experiencing pain or suffering in any area of your life, you are refusing to realize the truth within yourself. And to heal our lives, we must embrace this truth. Let me explain it another way. When you know yourself as wholeness, lack and scarcity cannot be present within. It's like when you go into a dark room, you turn the light on, the darkness must leave. When you put your energy or consciousness into the darkness must go. And what I mean by this is when we really allow ourselves to put our energy, ourself, into something that we did not know, and we go and we step into the fear with our energy, knowing that we are the light, knowing like we're the candle flame or the light switch, we turn that on as we go into the dark room. Once we move into there, the darkness and the unknowing must leave. When, you cannot know something and not know it at the same time. And in the unknown, when you step into the unknown, the knownness must appear. It just does. And when we look at that, every time that we face a step into our fear, we know the solution will always be there. And it is the ability to be able to hold ourselves open in the space of love and acceptance that we set ourselves free. Ram Dass, he goes and puts it in a nice way where he says, lack and scarcity, live where you won't know yourself. So it's like you allow a squatter into your house because you won't allow that to yourself to know yourself in that area of your life. You fear it for some reason, you've got a pain there or hurt there and you don't want to face it. And so you won't know yourself there, so you allow the squatter to be there. So as soon as you put yourself there, the lack and scarcity cannot be there. The trick is knowing where there is and being able to place yourself there. Pain and suffering tell us where we are not being wholeness. So where you have pain and suffering, you are not being love. And that's what I mean by when you're putting yourself there, it's putting love there. When you put love in there, you'll put the wholeness in there. Just just go ahead and let it rattle around in your noggin a bit and just let it sink deeper into your consciousness. And you'll begin to realize, and as you look at your own life, you'll begin to see where you've been holding yourself prisoner. Cool. So to create forward movement in any direction, and in the direction that you want to go, it then becomes very apparent when you know where you are and you have your desire on where you want to go. All that needs to happen is to fill the gap. When we take the step, we allow ourselves to step into the gap, and thus stepping into the gap, so you know where you are, and you know where you are by being bone raw honest with yourself and actually acknowledging the hurt. You know where you want to go, you want to clean it out, and you want to step into the darkness and put the consciousness in there. And by having your vision of getting that job, getting that relationship, getting whatever it is, you take your consciousness and you allow yourself to step into it. And it's a bit like Indiana Jones as he steps across the abyss. It looks like there's just a big valley down below, but he puts his foot out there and then the step to stand on appears. And the same thing happens with us. When we trust from within and allow ourselves to be in our heart and our love, we will allow ourselves to heal. So when you put your energy into each step, you light up the pathway for the next step. And it's about being okay. And it's when we come into that place of acceptance in ourselves in that step, then the next step opens and we set ourselves free. We do this by being present with where we are in the moment and looking to where our next step is. Think about it. When you allow yourself to become distracted or you shine your attention elsewhere, you lose momentum. And we do, we allow ourselves to get distracted and we don't get our work done or we don't get our projects done. And because we're allowing ourselves to just spray all over the place, it's a bit like having a garden hose. You turn it on and if you're not hanging on to it, it just goes everywhere. Yet when we allow ourselves to hold it, we can project the energy, the focus of our attention to exactly where it wants to go. And as we do, we don't got to force it, but we just focus it there and we just keep stepping through and it opens up and then it releases. Our focus and attention, and when we hold it steady, it causes us the momentum and the direction of where we're wanting to go. This is where many fall short to achieve their goals because of their old programming, they get to a certain level. And if you look in your life where you're achieving and things are going really well, you'll find that there's no, old programming has been unhooked. Yet in areas where you're still getting caught, you'll find there's still some old programming, there's some old beliefs, some old ways of being where you're still getting caught. And it's not right or wrong. It's just, I just got work to do. I just got to tidy some stuff up here. I need to just move more into yourself there, because there'll be areas where you're getting caught is where you haven't been willing to know yourself yet. And as you step into that, then you open it up and set yourself free. You know, one of the big things is when we are caught up in our program going round and round in circles, we keep getting held back. You know, one of the things is I don't want that for you. I want to help you get the awareness so that you're able to do that. And that's why we put this program together to help people become more who they are. So how can you turn your personal reality into the most powerful tool for healing and creating what you want? Well, the number one thing is we look at our reality, and the universe shines back to us where we're being or who we're being. And what happens is we're constantly being shown what isn't working in our life or what is working in our life. And when we look at that, we actually go, we look at the signs that we're getting, and are we listening? Are we paying attention to the signals and the signs, or are we blundering on anyway? Are we just trying to push through and being a stubborn mule and just trying to be whatever we're doing? You know, have you ever got angry because someone said something to you that really irritated you? You know, and if you take a stop and have a look, often what they've done is said something that you've been saying to yourself, but they've just said it out loud. And what they have been is the catalyst for the universe to actually get you to hear it, because you haven't been listening to yourself. Or you've been wanting something, wanting to get something, and you haven't been able to see the little trigger or the piece that you need to go back and pick up first before you can have it. So you go off, here you are trying to, say get a career or something, but the first thing you needed to go back was pick up a piece of, a learning or a piece of paper or something. But until you went and got that, you couldn't move forward. But you keep been pushing on the door trying to get forward, and yet one of the things that happens is you go back, get that piece of self that's been missing, put that into place, go back, and then the door opens. And it happens all the time. You know, everything happens when we get all the pieces together. We get the jigsaw puzzle. It's like playing a computer game. Those kids, you see your kids playing, and once they get everything on that level, they then are allowed to go to the next level. But until they get to a certain score, they're not allowed to go up. We're much the same. You know, once we get everything in order, then we can go to the next level of consciousness and enjoy that next level of life. And we can have all sorts of areas right in our life, but if we won't look at the one, we find we keep getting pulled back down, because we've got to get that cleaned out. You know, and, like they say, out of the mouth of babes comes some of the most truth and honesty. You know, it's like my little guy, he's sitting there, one day, and he said to me, "Dad, you're getting fat." And I looked at him and I laughed, thinking, "Oh, you little cheeky little shit." All he was saying is, if I looked at myself for the day, a few days beforehand, it was, "Doug, you're starting to put on weight. You need to go for a run." He just said it out loud because I wasn't listening to myself. And so it's not he's being bad. It's just he's being used as a catalyst of the universe for the universe. Obviously, you got to use that with a don't just be rude to people. But the thing is, when I'm using it as an example in my own life, I look at it, and when someone says something and it irritates me, I go, "Wow, where have I been saying that to myself, or where's the universe been saying it to me, and I haven't heard it?" And then once I realise what I'm missing, clean that up, what they say doesn't matter. It just goes through. It's a bit like Chinese food, just runs straight through you. So what you look at in your life is, where are the signals coming back? And the signals can be in a good way, and they can be in an irritation way. You get the signals in a good way, and they show you what you're doing right. You get them in a bad way, and you show yourself where you're tripping yourself up. So where they're going right, the thing that you need to do is go, okay, so what was I doing? What was I thinking? What was I being? And how can I create more of that? Because you will find that you have been in love. You'll find that you have been supporting yourself and flow with yourself, and you go right, and you move along that way, and you keep looking for what was I thinking? What was I feeling? And you will find it all tend to move along that way. When the things aren't working, you look for whereabouts is the pain. Where are you missing? Where's your pain inside yourself that you're not acknowledging? And you allow yourself to clean that out. And it becomes a beautiful way of life when you actually start to live like that. When you take action on the sides, you begin to feel very peaceful, connected, and your external experience becomes so much more enjoyable and effortless. You adjust your internal dialogue and connection to align with your true self, and life begins to flow very harmoniously. It's a yumbo place, it's what I call. One thing to be aware of is that being ourselves is an ever-growing and unfolding of acceptance into who we truly are, being light and love. One of the things is you're exactly where you need to be. When I started talking about this, and we're always exactly where we need to be, and it's just an unfolding and an opening. The more that we do that, the more free we become. So how do we determine whether we are living a lie or being ourselves? Which is the mirror there? When you're looking at that picture there, or the guy that's they're both in shape. One's more of a stick shape, and the other was more of a round shape. So they're both in shape. So the thing is that we look at is going, which is actually the mirror? How do you see yourself? And we are often told how we should be or what we should be doing, and all you're basically doing is getting shoulded on. So how often do we take time to stop and rest in your being and make a decision from there? How often do you, when you're having a conversation or something's going on and someone says something, how often do you just react? And how often do you sit back into your heart and respond and go, yeah, that's where I am. Okay, cool. And then respond from there, and you respond with love. When we find that we are being blocked in our finances, career, relationships, or health, it is often that we are not willing to listen or act upon how we need to be or what we need to do. One of the things with as far as it goes with our life, our relationships and our finances, our career and things like that, we'll get, we'll keep doing it. And then we'll be getting subtle messages. We're getting told these subtle messages. And as we're hearing these subtle messages, one of the things that tends to come through is we ignore them because they're only subtle. And if we don't listen, the universe got a way of, like I said before, getting someone to be a catalyst, so they'll say something that really annoys you. But all that is happening is they're actually telling you what you've been subtly getting shown. Remember, we always get told, different ways. We get tickled with a feather first, then we get a brick thrown at us. And if we won't listen, then we tend to get the Mack truck. And people that end up getting the terminal illnesses, that tends to be a bit of a Mack truck or something that you're not listening to. The brick will be someone will say something and it'll really pee you off. And a tickle in the feather you'll just get a little nudge. And you go, oh, maybe I should do that. And then you go back into your old programming because you're too stubborn to listen. I'm sharing a bit about what can sometimes happen with me. So and I know I'm no different to anybody else. So when we find that we are being blocked, one of the things that we need to do is, what are our excuses that are what we're doing? And one of the excuses that I see that a lot of people that do use is the excuse of karma. They'll say, it's my karma, I'm working out things. But it's cause and effect. Karma is cause and effect. Yes, karma. Yes, there is karma, and I acknowledge that. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. But one of the things that I want you to recognize is that we are at cause and effect. If you are getting blocked from something, you are being affected. If you look at the cause, then you say, what was the cause that was going on? What was I doing, thinking, or being to create it? Was I coming from survival mode, which is being at effect of, or was I coming from creation, which is causing the effect? You know, to know something fully, you must know both sides, you know, and this is somewhere I look at things where, like a relationship where someone's wanting to experience love fully, often in their childhood or in the early years, they will feel what non-love is, and so they can have a bit of a crap childhood. Yet what happens is as they heal it, they then tend to start finding their true love in themselves, and then when they master that and they come into the wholeness of love, they then know what love is about. You know, they know what not being love's like, and they know what total love is like. And unless you know the whole gamut of the energy, then you will not master it. It's the same in every area of your life. If you want to master relationships, you will experience a shit relationship in some area, and it may be with yourself, or it may be with someone else, but then you can then know what it's like and know what not to do, and then you're able to realize, well, if that's crap, well, I'll do the opposite. I'll turn the other way. If that's tails on the coin, I'll look at heads. And all you do is you turn your perception and your focus to the other area, because at any one stage, and this is one thing that I really want you to get, in energy, both are always there when in every level of consciousness. So if you are if you are experiencing financial lack, financial abundance is there at the same time. It's just that your focus is on the lack. And if you put your focus and you move your focus to the to where the abundance is, you will begin to see it, and you'll begin to see the opportunities and things going on. Same in your relationship. If you're finding your relationship is having turmoil and crap going on, then you look at it and you go, okay, so this is where my crap is. So obviously I'm not being wholeness here, and you turn your attention to being loving. And guess where you put the loving first? Oh, in yourself. Geez, wonder why that would be. If we put the loving in ourselves first, or we put the finance in ourselves first, then it flows from within. And that's basically the mirror that we get back to us. Yet until we take the moment of changing in ourselves, nothing changes. So, you know, when we stop being in survival and reaction mode, we then start moving into choice. When we move into the choice of who we are, we set ourselves free. Creation is how we begin, is done through conscious choice and being connected with ourselves. So when we choose to be the cause of what's going on, we step into conscious creating. At any one time, you know, both parts are present. You could have conscious creating, or you could be in survival. Every moment of your day, you have a choice. And this is where you start being in self and healing your life, rather than being an effect of what your environment is showing. As one of my teachers said, in situations you've got a choice. There's two choices. You either know or you don't know. Anything in between is bullshit. I mean, belief system. And basically, when we look at things, when we know something, no one can budge us. You know, if you're a female or a male, and someone says, you know, you're a female, and says, you're not a female, you're a male, and you go, no, I know I'm. You know, for me, I know I'm a male, so don't tell me I'm a female. And you know, it's like my dad. He when I went down this healing and consciousness pathway, and when I was going from my plumbing, he tried to knock me out of and told me to go back to the plumbing. But something inside of me, this deep knowingness, just said, no, this is my path. And no matter how hard he bashed me and battered me and attacked me, and he was a beautiful catalyst for me to find that knowingness inside myself. And, he may have had about 5 bottles of wine and sat up until about 3 in the morning trying to convince me to go back to plumbing. But I just was able to, I just stood and said, no, the knowingness from within was so strong. It was like a mountain. And you, in your life, will have experienced the same thing. Now, the good thing about not knowing, and when we can admit that we don't know, we set ourselves free, and it's so exciting, and it's so, oh, God, it feels good. Because what happens is when we admit that we don't know, knowingness turns up. Because we open the doorway in our mind, if you're going to go into the neurological pathways on it, the mind will search for the solution. It'll search for the answer. But if we come up with a bullshit story or a belief system, what we're doing is we're trying to convince ourselves that this is what's going on. Yet when we go into the knowingness or the unknowingness, then the truth can rise. But if we are listening to our belief systems and our stories, what happens is it keeps us from the truth. And so we've got to become very aware of when are we living in our belief systems. So a way that I look at it is if I catch myself saying, I believe X, Y, Z, then I know I'm telling myself a story, because I either know it or I don't know it. And if I don't know it, that's okay. The knowing will come. And what happens is, because for me, what I experience and what you'll experience when you truly step into the not knowing, there is just this feeling of love that comes up from inside of you, and it's going, thank you for being so honest. Now you can have now you can have the ice cream or the cookies, whatever you want. And it's like the gift is given to you. And, for me, it changes your way of life. It makes life so much easier for you. So many of us tolerate the lies that we tell ourselves because we fear that we'll be made look silly if we don't know. But when we look at the knowingness and the not knowingness as truths, then we are free. And no one can hurt us. All that we're doing is we're going into the belief systems, we're going back into our memories, our old programming. And some of our programming can be used in certain ways, which is fine, but it's about to monitor it and become very aware of it. A guide, always come back to your center, always come back to your heart, and you'll find that you'll tend to shoot through it. And I know that these have been simple teachings. But yet when they applied, they had the ability to heal your life. They had the ability to set you free. And that's why I want to help you create the changes in your life. I've been told by Spirit to help people heal their lives. That's basically what I'm about. That's basically where we're going, what we're wanting to do. And what my journey in life is by helping you remember who you are to actually love yourself. So, as we've come to the end of the webinar of where we're going out, one of the things to be aware of is, as I've gone through this webinar, one thing that we know, and I know myself because I experience it, I go for a run and I have my headset on, I listen to an audio book, I can listen to the same chapter over and over again, and I always hear something different because I know, and it's been scientifically proven, that we lose our attention about 6 times a minute. And as we do that, we get bits of information because you hear a tidbit, you hear something, and then your mind goes off and starts wondering and thinking about it, talking about it, and you're analysing it and things like that. And this is where we miss bits of information. So what I've gone and done here is I've gone and put a course together, and it's a real gift because someone asked me to do this, and I thought, yeah, and then I said to Spirit, I said, yeah. Came through and said, make this easy in little bite-sized pieces to be able to help people to really understand what I covered today, to actually take it into greater depth so that they can really master what I've been talking about. And it's not so much just hearing it, it's about experiencing it. And so what I've gone and done is put a 3-week course together. They're only 2 hours long every starts on the 4th of November, and it's going to be at 9 o'clock No, 8 o'clock Queensland time, 9 o'clock New South Wales, 11 o'clock in New Zealand, and 6 a.m. in WA, and about 5 o'clock in the afternoon in America. In Mountain Time America. So one of the things, the reason why I did it like that is so that people could get it and get in and get it done, and then go about their days. And 2 hours is about as much as, you know, we can do. And the reason why I made it 2 hours was to be able to give you some content, and then actually to be able to get in and help you by energetically stepping in with you into where that you may be holding your hurt. And as we do, we go into it and we help you release it and help you go into there and untangle what's going on, so you get that place of knowingness within yourself. And so it's for 3 consecutive weeks. There's only 3 weeks of it, and it's a gift. You know, like for me, it's just a little. It's my way of giving back and helping people, and get you to really change in a real great place. So as anyone that's worked with me know, that when I work with them, it's an experimental workshop. In other words, you will be experiencing it in your body fully on what's going on, and you will be having your stuff seen. What I want you to understand is that you've got a choice, you know, and we've always got choice on what we do. And go ahead, and what I want you to do is, go ahead and check out the page on it, the sales page on it, and you'll see that it's a gift. There's $2,888 worth of value in it, but we're giving it away for $149. $149. It's not even a case of beer a week. God, a bottle of wine or whatever. It's so cheap. And the thing is, for the people that are lucky enough to be on the Gold Coast or around Brisbane area, can come down and do it with us in person here in the house or the studio, what we've got here. And then the people that are interstate or overseas, we're going to be doing it on a Facebook Live page, and we're going to be doing it so that I'm going to be connected with you as well, so you can do it from the comfort of your own home. So you can pretend to hide a little bit, and you know that we will see you. And one of the things that we do is we are able to help you both, so that you're not having to come up here every week, and because I know that just doesn't work. So what we've done is put it together like that. You have a choice now, and you either know that it's going to be something that you really want to do and go and do it. And for those people, I look forward to talking with you soon. And if you have a not knowing, then the choice that you need to do is go inside and ask for the knowing. Is it the right thing? You need to look what maybe the sabotaging patterns. Is it an old program that is holding you back? Is it an old excuse that may be telling you that you don't want to, oh no, I don't want to do this, I know this, I know that, blah, blah, I'll do it myself. Geez, put my hand up for the amount of times I did that to myself. Yet I found once I got guidance and got my teachers would guide me, I tended to move a heck of a lot faster. So there's a couple of things that I know. One thing as I know is I can hold my hand out to help you as much as I can, and to put this opportunity there, which is what I can do. And the other thing that I know is it comes down to you, to whether you see value in yourself to be able to really go after this and do what you want to do. So one thing I know, it changes lives. I'm so blessed to see so many miracles and so many people heal themselves. And I love it when I am able to witness someone really get up and their life becomes so enjoyable as they start being themselves more, and they actually really do heal their life, and they do that by remembering. So what we'll do is go deeper into the tools that I went over today, and show you some more finer detailed practical steps on what you do, and not just have the oversight of what it looks like. We actually go down into the finer details so that you actually understand it fully. So again, there's the website, douglaspeacock.com/being yourself, being you, sorry. And if you go on there, you'll see it. And other than that, thank you for being here. Thank you for your presence. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you soon in the future. And other than that, have a great day, and I look forward to catching up soon. So again, my name's Doug Peacock. You take care.